Hey, greatness. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for catching the replay and rewatching this video. If you are new to my face, I'm Sister Mathina, and I get to serve the world as a storytelling coach. What does that mean? It means speakers train with me when they're ready to move from mediocre speaking to magnetic storytelling. And I'm so excited. All right, grab your clapper. You know, mine is here. Hold on a minute. Mine is here. Grab your clapper, grab your energy, put your hands together because I'm super excited to introduce to you all one of my clients who is a powerhouse. So strap your edges down, get ready because the energy and the fire is coming. All right. So let me bring Linda in. Hey, greatness.
Hey, I have my clapper.
I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, you all, I want you to meet Linda Hayles. Linda, and we're going to tell y'all how we met and all that good stuff that's about to happen. But I just want you to, I'm going to lean back real quick. I want you all to meet Linda. Linda, I want you to share a little bit about yourself, brag on you, tell us who you show up in the world as, because I told them to put their edges down. You heard that, right? Because I know you come to snatch.
Well, thank you so much, Mathina. I'm excited to share with your audience today. But you told me just now to introduce myself and talk about myself. And what I want to say before I start, it's a coaching moment. Do not think that people hype themselves up in a funny, sarcastic way. We tend to do that. We're like, I am the super fantastic, super awesome, magnetically fabulous. You don't have to do all that, even though you are, right? You could just drop the hammer and tell people, I have a psychology degree in human behavior. It's what helps me get my clients fantastic belief shifting results. It's what allows me to help my clients to ditch the middle class mindset. Some people call it the force of average. Some people call it old programming. Some people call it trauma. I call it the middle class mindset. I am a TEDx speaker. I am a published author. I am a badass. I translate at Lakewood Church, at the most prolific Christian church in the nation, for Pastor Joel Osteen, and sometimes whenever Pastor John Gray comes back, I translate for him. I translate for TD Bishop, Bishop TD Jakes and Joyce Meyer. And here's why I'm telling you that. I'm Puerto Rican. I grew up in the hood. So I speak Spanish, English, and hood. So, okay. So when I landed at Lakewood Church and I started translating for John Gray, he was saying phrases like drop it like it's hot. There is no literal translation for drop it like it's hot. If you say drop it like it's hot in Spanish, you literally are saying dropping something like it's hot. And it doesn't mean drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot. It doesn't mean that in Spanish. So, so because I grew up in the hood and I am fluent in Spanish, I know which hood ratchet Spanish phrase also means drop it like it's hot. So translating in live real time is not easy. And I never knew that I could do it. There are all these things that you have growing up that you take for granted. My parents are preachers, so I grew up in church with a microphone in my hand. I'm not scared to speak. And I literally knowing that book, the Bible, in Spanish, and knowing all the stories was like such an easy way for me to connect. And so speaking is my jam. Not knowing what the hell I'm doing also is my jam. Just being great because I have a deep voice, because I have a voice that carries, because I have a charismatic personality. All of these things have helped me to land a TEDx talk. And all, but when I met Mathina, I'm gonna let Mathina guide this interview. I was already a great speaker, just didn't really know how to put things together. But that's who I am. I currently now, what I do right now in this moment in time on earth, I help Hispanic, Black, and brown women make multiple six figures fast. My strength is in helping you restructure your offers so that you can make a lot of money fast. Not a get rich quick scheme, but make money fast so that you can crush $100,000 quarters. Listen, if you knew how to make $100,000 every 90 days, you'd be at $400,000 a year. And that is unfathomable for many, many people, including myself. So that's the way I am. That's what I do. Thanks, Mathina.
I warned you all, right? I said she was coming to snatch edges. Did I not? One of the things I love, Linda, about our opportunity to connect and your fire and your energy is that it's been organic since the moment I met you, right? One of the things that I want you all to pay attention to is that in your follow up is where you reach the goal. So Linda and I actually met on Clubhouse. So those of you who are not new to my community, you know there was a time where I had a profound Clubhouse addiction. You knew it was there, right?
I think we all did.
Right, Linda? It's like it can get addictive. It really can. But it's gotten much better. But Linda and I think I don't remember why I got into Clubhouse. I've been off for a while. And then I just popped in one day and saw a room that said something about like connecting to women in business and entrepreneurship. And I'm in the room, minding my business, not on stage. And then one of the mods saw me in the room and invited me up. Cool, no problem. I get on stage and I'm listening, just thinking, how am I going to pour back in? Then came this stream of energy through the phone. And it was in response to a woman who was living in another country and was struggling. And this energy came up and said, I got you. I have got your back. I'm going to serve you because women must live well. And I don't remember all the words you said, but you gave it. And I slid in your DMs like, that was gold. That was beautiful. Thank you for pouring in. And that began our relationship because then I had to share with Linda what I heard. She could share a teeny bit of her story. I had to share a little bit of what I heard. So Linda, that's my perspective of how we got started, how we got connected. Did I leave anything out? What do you remember from our connection?
I remember that just like you, I had been off of Clubhouse for a while because everybody gets off of Clubhouse for whatever reasons, right? I got off of Clubhouse because I was serving the people that I was closing from Clubhouse. I am a closer, guys. If I had to just say one word, what are you, Linda? I do sales. I close sales. So I was closing like $40,000 from Clubhouse, like from people I was meeting on Clubhouse, the exact same way that I met Mathina that day. So I had been off of Clubhouse for a while, mainly because I was serving the people on, that I was meeting on Clubhouse. And I was now stepping into the higher level, multiple high six-figure earner. And I was being very choosy about where I spend my time. So that morning I was checking out of a hotel. I had driven to New Orleans. I'm in Houston to go see a client there. And I said, you know what? While I'm putting on my makeup and getting ready to check out, I'm going to go into this Clubhouse room because the name was attractive. Okay. The name was magnetic. The name was alluring. All of those things that you need to have as part of your messaging. The name of this Clubhouse room was that. And like Mathina said, there was a lady there and she was in another country struggling with her business. And I wholeheartedly, okay, this is not a marketing message. This is not my elevator pitch. This is not that. I believe that our women need to know how to make a lot of money because when women, specifically Black, brown, Hispanic women, when we have a lot of money, we put it back into our families. And when we put it back into our families, that means that when I got pregnant at 16, my daughter didn't have to get pregnant at 16. So she didn't. When my mom's sons went in and out of prison and died in prison, none of my sons went to prison. My sons went to the army. My sons are doing great things, right? So I believe that when women have a lot of money, women change the narrative for their family and then can change the world. So I literally wholeheartedly believe that from the bottom of my soul. And I stepped in to serve this lady for that purpose in another country. I know she can't afford me. And what it spun off was like everyone in the room started saying, if you need help with this, I'll help you. If you need help with this, I'll help you. And Mathina, as I was talking, she did what you're supposed to do when you're on Clubhouse. Okay, because Clubhouse is a hurricane, right? And you need to know what wind speed you're at. You need to know if you're in the eye. You need to know if you're in the outer skirts. Like you need to know. So when someone is speaking, they're in the eye of the hurricane. And Mathina was catching these winds. And so Matina did what people do when they catch the wind. They go into your Instagram and they message you. And Matina said to me, from all the things that I said there, Linda, this is what I heard you say. When I introduced myself, I didn't even know what I said. I just said what was real.
Mm-hmm.
And Matina rephrased it to me in a voice clip in the most impactful, emotional way. Like, I have long sleeves on, but I literally have goosebumps because when I heard Matina tell me my own story back to me, it gave me chills because I'd never thought to, she didn't add anything that was not true. It's just the words that she used to tap into to pull at the emotional heartstrings. That's what got me. And I was like, girl, please tell me that you're making $10,000 a pop doing this for people.
Yeah.
And I know she was on the other side like, that's how we met.
That's how we met. That's how we met. And honestly, one of the things that shifted for me in my conversation with Linda and subsequent conversation and our relationship was, oh, wait, you know what? You can. You can. And you are in the way of people who are on the path behind you waiting for you to move. Can you all see how this comes full circle? If you're not new to me, if you're familiar with my community, you know I've been doing work with women and girls for over 17 years. I have receipts. They're clear. They're distinguished. But one of the things is I step fully into this lane of stage-ready speakers, of storytelling, and mastering the art of creating a sensory experience and vision with your vocal velocity. I was like, am I really? I'm doing it right. I'm not. I'm doing it right. And I stepped into conversation with Linda, and we started this relationship that said, not only can you must. And you have an entire circumstance and a situation that says you have to live well. And I said, okay, you're right. Close my first 5-figure month, y'all. First 5-figure month in less than 6 weeks. Here's how those things, when we talk about behavioral shift, Linda talks about a behavioral shift. It's not just mindset. This is about a behavioral belief system shifting moment. And what I appreciated as I stepped into conversation with Linda said, well, hold on. I'm good with a mic. I was born with a mic in my hand and I speak with fire, but I don't quite do it like that. How I do it like that. And that's how we stepped into another level of relationship. So Linda, once you had that moment and you said yes, and we had our session, what was it like for you to go through the experience of having a VIP session with me and a coaching session with me?
So everyone is good at what they do. Okay. I'm good at what I do, but I'm coachable.
Yeah.
But I'm also, listen, oh my God, this is going to be the most fire interview because I keep it real. And in order for you, if you're watching, you're probably in business for yourself or some type of person who influences people, because if you have a microphone in your hand, you influence people. Well, I be speaking. And you need to know that if you influence people, one of the biggest and most powerful and easiest ways to influence others is to be honest. So I have this radical honesty that I'm bringing to this interview today. When I met with Matina, I was good when it was my turn to coach her on how to make a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And I was very self-conscious when it was her turn to coach me on speaking because I didn't want her to think, how the hell is she making so much money? She don't even know what the hell she's doing when she's talking. You know? So there's this level of transparency that you must bring to the coaching relationship, because if not, you really don't get the results. And I believe it's the reason why a lot of people throw money at coaches and they leave the program and the coaching and they're like, well, I didn't get no results. Well, because you didn't know how to trust. You got problems trusting, boo. Mm-hmm. Because Brene Brown, and she ain't paying me to say this, but Brene Brown has an amazing book and TEDx talk on vulnerability and how it is the main foundational block for connection and for getting results. So I said to her, Mathina, I just want to speak again like I did on Clubhouse, and you just tell me what you hear.
Mhm.
And so what I enjoyed about her, she did not push me into an outline that she wanted to push me in. She was like, okay, Linda learns this way. She asked me, how do you learn? And I said, right, I said, this is what we do. And she asked me questions. And then I would answer, and she would, okay, stop me right there. And she's like, this is what I heard. And we broke down. She's got is it 5-step? She's got a 5-step.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's got a 5-step formula. It's her signature process to get your talk, whether you want to do a 10-minute talk or a 30-minute talk or an hour talk. When you follow this process, knowing how much time you have, you know exactly what to say that hits and keep moving. Because we don't have time for your 15-minute conversation about how you grew up and your daddy did this and your mama did that, which is what I used to do because I wanted to bring people to where my limitations began. But that really is not the important part. It's part of it. And so I enjoyed so much that Mathina was keen on how does Linda learn. I never felt dumb, which was my biggest fear. I didn't tell her that, but I was like, man, I'm gonna come here and she's gonna be like, this, she's so dumb. How's she doing that? Right. And let me tell you, when you do that, when you think that way, that's because that's what you would think of someone else in your place. It's your own judgments and your own triggers. So check yourself, boo. But that was the that was the that was the like most amazing part of doing this VIP session with you. It was so valuable,
Mm-hmm.
and we could talk about why it was valuable. I'm not gonna go there yet. But it was so easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no idea that in 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours, I could take my entire story, condense it, and never forget to tell it that way again. That's the most powerful. It was like, I can never forget. Like, I will never tell my story any other way than how I learned with Mathina.
Oof. So Linda, thank you so much. And I didn't know what Linda was going to say. We just said we were going to have this conversation. And I want to thank you for your transparency and your vulnerability. Because sometimes, I'm not going to say all the time, I'm not going to say everyone, but sometimes those of us who have amazing accomplished, did you miss TED Talk, published author, right? Understand the psychology behind why we make decisions. 100K quarters. You get that? I'm talking 5+ figures in a week, let alone a day. So Linda has accomplished. And so when we're accomplished, raise your hand if this is you. Then sometimes we shy away from support, or we're afraid to say, here's what support looks like for me. And when we do that, remember, we stand in the roadblock. I've had so many clients say, Madonna, where have you been? And I'm like, at home. Because I was my own roadblock. What we have to shift our focus on now is, how do I get out of my own way? How do I send my gift out ahead of me so it can guard me? You're not supposed to guard your gift. You're not supposed to put your gift on lockdown like, yeah, I'm going to put it right here and keep it secure from people. It's only way that your gift makes room for you is if you send it out ahead of you. That's the only way. Right, Linda?
Can I say something about the gift? Guys, so I grew up in church, so I know the spiritual lingo and the it almost sounds poetic. It doesn't matter what faith you practice. If you read your particular scripture, your holy book, there is almost poetic vocabulary in there. And one of those in the faith is gifts. But when you say the word gifts, and this is why I don't use the word gifts, Mathina.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I like to use the word talent because, again, it doesn't matter what faith you follow. Your faith probably teaches you that you must work, that you have to work to eat, right? If you're a Christian, and then the Bible says that with the sweat of your brow, you shall eat. It doesn't say with your gifts. But a lot of people in faith, they believe that, well, I have this gift. It was given to me. I was born with it. And gift implies that it is given and that it is free. And a gift implies that you expect nothing in return because it's a gift. But God did not create you with a gift so that you can just give it and be broke. He said, with the sweat of your brow, you shall eat, which means when you are employing your gift, if you're talking to someone on the phone and you're teaching her or him the one thing that you're gifted with, you're working, your brow is sweating, in essence.
Yeah.
And if your brow is sweating, you should get paid. What goes before you is your voice. It's your what is it? Your reputation. What goes before you is the rain sounds, right? The thunder goes and then the rain comes, right? So what goes before you is to let people know, oh, this is it. And if you gotta have this, right? And if you gotta have this, it's not free. Because we are not, a lot of us that are very faith, have a foundation of very strong faith. We have a prophet that we follow. And that prophet lived in times that are not today. And that prophet didn't charge people for what that prophet was doing. And so I just want to, it's my opinion. I don't know if China agrees with it. But I particularly, when any women of faith come to work with me, which I work with women of faith because we attract what we are, we leave those words at the door, gifts. Anyway.
I love the reframe, and the reason, and what you just brought to my mind is that like how we perceive and how we position something is incredibly important, because my perspective is that there's no way that you get, because in order for me to give you something, there has to be work and has to be action. I can't sit here holding on to it, just chilling. Either you're going to come and have to take it out of my hands, that's work, or I'm going to have to give it to you, so there's work. And I love when you say sweat of the brow, that there's work involved and there's an exchange that has to happen. So I love that. And I understand exactly what it's like. This, one of the things that came up to me this past week in study is when we talk about dreams, right? So my thing is, like, I've reframed my conversation around dreams, because when we're dreaming, we're asleep, versus when we're visioning, we're awakened in action. We cast vision. Does that make sense? We send it out before us. So I fully am in alignment with reframing how we consider this conversation of a gift, because it means there's no reciprocity there, then we're out of alignment. I believe in full reciprocity. And for every ease that comes, then there's also a sense of hardship. Why? Because it's refinement. I think one of our conversations we just had about building muscle, we use a frame about going into the gym. If you go into the gym and you work a muscle and then you don't go back because it hurt, because you had some tear and some happening there, you don't build the muscle. The muscle atrophies, and it's actually worse now than it was before, because you tore it and you did no rebuilding, you did no soothing, right? You did no reframing to it. But if you go back and work another piece of that muscle and put it into use, then you have a different conversation that's just happened. So very often that common language in terms of share with me how you're seeing this. Share with me how it lands with you. Because if your frame of reference isn't the same as mine, then we have to do a pivot so we can land on the same place and have an ability to parse the conversation, parse the words. So listen, you're going to send me down on the tangent. But I love this conversation. And what I appreciate, and I don't know if you're just tuning in, you may have missed hearing Linda say, listen, full vulnerability, transparency, and radical honesty, right? Radical honesty. So one of the things that shows up in these kinds of conversations is, if this is where I'm heading, if this is the move that I'm making, how do I find myself in alignment? Linda and I had an alignment conversation, right? Because I had missed a coaching session. I've been like, okay. And then we got back and said, okay, so what may have happened? And one of the things that shows up for women, and particularly Black and brown women, in relationship and in business is if you have a commitment to the outcome You heard Linda say, I believe we need to go because we feed back into our families. If you have a commitment to the outcome, you're willing to say, okay, maybe I was part of a breakdown. Maybe I was part of a challenge. How do I own my responsibility in that? How do I circle back? And we had a moment like that where we had a chance to circle back. And that's when I was like, Linda part of my people. Linda is part of my community. No. Let's get clean on this. And we've been having such beautiful conversations. Linda's planning some events. I'm like, count me in. Y'all know I don't leave the house for the most part, but for Mexico, I might be down for that. Linda, I don't want to keep us too long. One of the things I did want to hear from you is that conversation of value, right? And so coaching moment, I learned through my own coaching, whenever I received coaching, to ask, what was the value of a conversation for you? What was the value of an experience? Because sometimes we don't know, and I can't assume what the value was, so I have to ask. And so we have a moment where we get to receive back what the client got out of a session, because we don't get to dictate that. So you never know what a client's going to say when you ask that question. But I would love to hear from you. What was the value of us working together? Particularly as you worked on refining and crafting that story, whether you're saying it in a 2-minute relay on Clubhouse or 20, 30 minutes on the stage.
Yes. A couple of minutes ago, you heard me say, if I had to say in one word what I am a closer. If you're watching this and you're an entrepreneur of any kind, and you want to step into charging more for what you do, ask yourself this one question. What are you better at than 95% of the people that you know? What are you better at than 95% of the people that you know? That answer should come like this. Boom. For me, it's sales. So because I am a salesperson and I make all my money through a conversation, all of my money comes through conversation. I do not have a website where you could just go buy something. You must have a conversation with me. This year, my business is done right now. If I stop working right now, I'm like $50,000 away from $500,000. So my mouth has made me $500,000 this year. Because I work and I make all my money through conversation, the value for my lifetime, I'm 48. I don't even, when people ask me about retirement, I don't think about it because when you're an entrepreneur, you're not in corporate America. You're like, I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing. If anybody here knows of Bob Proctor, raise your hand if you know who Bob Proctor is, right? Bob Proctor is like ancient. He's like a fossil and he is still working. Bob Proctor was found in a museum somewhere and he came to life. You know what I'm saying? That's funny, guys. But Bob Proctor is in his 80s. And Bob Proctor is working. Because it's so much fun to do what we do. So the value for the lifetime that I'm going to get from having learned to relay not just my story, but know what are the emotional words? What are those powerful words that I can use to make a connection with people? Mathina left from the live stream. I think it's.
I'm here, Linda. I'm here.
Okay. I was just gonna keep going, girl, because I'm good.
I got you.
So the powerful words that evoke emotion. Listen to me. I'm about to teach right now. I am a member of this huge church. The largest church in the nation is Lakewood Church. All of our services are televised. You could go Facebook Watch, YouTube Live, like we're everywhere. You go to lakewood.org, like we're there, right? And when you go to our church, you're literally attending a concert every week. from the moment that the very first song comes up and the instrument, our band, our orchestra, whatever you want to call it, they rise from the stage and they are brought up, and then there's smoke and there's a light show. It's like a freaking concert, and you're like, am I at church, or it's like Tupac about to show up here, right? Holographic Tupac, right? So, and it goes in and it goes hard, and the music drops and the beat drops and the bass, and people are engulfed in an emotional experience. And if you are listening and you're an entrepreneur, you need to know that people's pockets open up when you tap into their emotions. People's emotions are attached to their pockets, right? And that's not manipulative. It happens to you every time. I just did a post in my stories yesterday where I showed a picture of a Coach brand snakeskin sandal. I was up the night before Googling snakeskin boots, okay? And Facebook said, oh, she looking for snakeskin? Let's send her this snakeskin sandal. And literally, I saw the shoe. I clicked on the ad. I'm like, oh, snap, 130? Do they have a 9.5? Oh, snap, I just bought it. Oh. And I sent that a screenshot to my friend, and she was like, damn, girl, those Facebook ads get you. I'm like, marketing works.
Yep.
Marketing works, right? So it worked because it tapped into an emotion. Why do I like snakeskin? Because I'm a bad bitch. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't looking for nothing else. Snakeskin, right? So that created a feeling, snakeskin. I'm like, oh, I cannot wait to put that on my foot. I cannot wait to walk into a room and just own the room without saying no words. Snakeskin, right? So that ad, even though it was a picture of a shoe, it created an emotion. The value of working with Mathina is that you, for me, maybe it will be the same for you, I hope that it is that I learned to speak with emotion and not just fire. Because when you speak with fire, some people get their feelings hurt. You know what I say, the truth will set you free, but first it'll piss you off.
And anyway, I thank you so much for that. One of the things that is so impactful is that when we talk about the art of speaking, the art of storytelling, is the emotion. But it is emotion because you want to take people through a sensory experience. But emotion creates an experience. That's why we go to the movies, and then you have the music. Like Linda just talked about with Lakewood. You have the music, you have the tone, you have all those things and you can do that vocally.
Yes.
And that's what you want to do every time you have an opportunity. You want to take people with your verbal highs. You want to bring them low. You want to create a sense of intimacy, even if you're speaking to 1,500 plus people or thousands or millions, all because of how you use your space, all because of how you use your voice, your intonations, and the words that you use to create a magnetic experience that brings people with you. And the people that come with you are those that you truly desire to serve because they're the ones that connect with your message. Your message is what will create that magnetic moment with some skill and technique and some honing, because the truth is the truth. You heard Linda say that earlier. The truth is the truth. We're just saying truth. But I'm saying it in a way that allows you to connect with me, to see me as an answer, to see me. Because here's the thing, most of us who are speaking, if you're in business, you showed up to be an answer to a prayer because it was for somebody, because you once had that same thing. Most of us talk to the people that are just like us. You found a way to answer that prayer for you, and you're doing it for other people who also need a person like you to provide them with that service or skill. Yes? So Linda, I do want to go ahead and bring us to a close. I'm not trying to keep us here all day. I said that already. But I want to make sure that those who are listening to this conversation are like, yo, I need some more Linda in my life. How can we find you? How can we connect to you? If there's anything else that you want to share, that you want to share with the community right now, I am turning the mic fully back over to you.
Yay. Well, thanks. I specialize in taking already existing business owners to 6 figures fast. Okay, that's what I do. Just in July of this year, I had never done $100,000 month, let alone $100,000 week. That's exactly what I did. So find somebody who has social proof, me, and can help you explode your business. Currently, I have a class that I'm teaching this Wednesday. You can go to 100k.lindahayles.com, 100k class, 100k class.lindahayles.com. And I probably should have changed my name to what that link is.
I'm gonna throw up a banner. You said 100k class.
100k class.lindahayles.com. That is this Wednesday. It is not for newbies. It is not for people who are not making any money in their business. I'm telling you who it's not for and who it is for. I do not work with newbies. While there are many coaches that work with newbies, I specialize in taking you. It doesn't matter if you're charging $500. The fact is that you have a business and people have already paid you, which means that you have already put your idea to the test and people are willing to pay you. If you have a business that people have paid you in, I don't care what they've paid you, I can work with you. Okay. So 100k class.lindahayles.com. That's going to be this Wednesday. It's going to be at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, and it will be live. There will be Q&A at the end. We're trying to set up this last quarter of the year so that you can crush 100K. But really, if whatever money you have made in your business so far per month, let's say you come to me and you're like, Linda, I've only made $700. Okay, we can add a zero to that. Linda, you know what? I've made $10,000. Girl, I definitely can add a zero to that. You know, I've made $3,000. Child, we can add a zero to that. So that's what we're going to be discussing on this 100K class.lindahayles.com. You can find me anywhere on the internet at Linda Hayles. You can go to Instagram. Really, my place, my happy place is Facebook, right? I believe that you should pick one social media platform and dominate it. Dominate, own it, possess the land. I am on Instagram. I have a presence there, but I play inside of the Facebook world. I appreciate you. If you're watching me, send me a friend request, send me any message, leave any comments under this live stream. I will be watching and I will reply. Thank you so much for inviting me here today.
You're welcome. Thank you, Linda. Hey, family, thank you so much for joining me and Linda in this conversation. If you have questions, if you want to know what I'm up to next, go to mathina.com. That's mathina.com. So you can learn about my upcoming classes. And if you are saying to yourself, Mathina, I want an experience like Linda had, and I want you to craft something just for me and have an opportunity to allow me and my 17 plus years to focus on you, then go over to mathina.com and let's get you started with the session where we can have a conversation and move from there to an opportunity to create your magnetic message. Have an amazing day, family. Take care of yourself. I love you to pieces and back whole again.